connecting through various channels of communication. So the key thing to remember is that the allostatic load, this chronic stress load, is very dangerous for human beings. And we are not wired to live under this constant pressure. So we need to learn and the stress management strategies for us to survive, in this environment. And also I forgot to mention connection to nature. That's also very therapeutic for human brains and bodies. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Ina. It was very detailed. It was very good. I hope that my students understood you quite well and they can apply some of your techniques and the methods that you mentioned to their lives. So, guys, any questions? I know that the students have prepared the questions. Can you hear me? Polina, Sonia, Dasha, Stepan, questions, please, to our experts.
How can
yes,
we
yes.
avoid the procrastination during the quarantine?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I can repeat.
So could you please repeat, how can we avoid?
Mm-hmm. Procrastination.
Yes. How can we avoid procrastination?
Procrastination.
Okay, so, and who I'm speaking with?
It's Alexei. Alexei.
Okay. So could I please ask you a question that will allow me to answer better your question? Has the procrastination increased during the pandemic, or it's something that you struggled with even before?
Mm-hmm. So Alexei, did you understand the question?
Yes.
Well, can you answer it?
Procrastination didn't increase, but sometimes I feel that I don't want to do something such as my homework.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, if you say it's not something new, right, that you have struggled with procrastination. So it's a learned behavior. Mm-hmm. Some people function better if they're under stress, and the closer is the deadline of the assignment, the more you are stimulated, the more anxiety you feel, the easier it is for you to engage in it. It's a kind of a negative stimulation. But mm-hmm. if you have time, you are not stimulated by the deadline as much. So then you procrastinate, and then you avoid probably doing the homework by coming up with different reasons. I have time, or I have something else to do. So what I would say, develop a plan. For example, for every day, do a part of the assignment. But that's a learning, so that every day you do something that contributes to the main goal, to the assignment. But you would need to do it every day. It's some type of reprogramming for your brain that you would need to be doing and learn new behavior. But it would require consistency, because for new neural pathways in our brain to build, we need to practice that. That's why exercise is so important. Every day, do a portion of that assignment. Mm-hmm. That I would recommend on the consistent basis. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a strategy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ina. Any other questions, guys? Polina, Sonia, Dasha, Stepan.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How will pandemic change people's way of thinking? Like they will wash their hands more often?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that? How did the pandemic
change people's way of thinking?
Way
of thinking or way of behavior. Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, I can only speak about my observations
Mm-hmm.
in the context of the United States
Mm-hmm.
and what I see in my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would mention that it's been only several months
Mm-hmm.
since the pandemic started, and it would be generalizations that I would say. So what I noticed in my clients, how the pandemic has. So there is increase in existential anxiety. And by that I mean people feel disoriented. If they thought before, I have a job, I have family, I know how our culture, how our system operates, this pandemic disequilibrated, brought to imbalance people's view on their stability. Now they say, I'm not sure I know what stability is, what control is. I feel I don't have much impact on what is happening. So people feel this anxiety. Also, what I noticed that some people start questioning more. What are my values in life? Did I put too much emphasis on material things, on things that I have? And right now I don't have the luxury of traveling, for example, or going to restaurants and spending time with my friends. Do I have some people experience value reset inside of them. So they say, maybe I need to emphasize more on things that have more value, like my family, or some spirituality, or some intellectual practices that I'm in control with. Some people question country values or political system. So I would say, people are definitely questioning their old way of thinking. And my hope is that through this pandemic, they will create more meaningful ways of thinking and living. So it was very broad, but I hope I answered some.
Well, Ina, how about behavioral changes in people? Like, do they wash hands more? Do they have more fears now? Or did you notice any of this?
So behavioral changes, yes, of course. Washing hands more, wearing masks. We are ordered in Colorado to wear masks in public places. It's not visiting your friends, not going to hospitals to visit your loved ones, nursing homes, not traveling, weddings are being canceled, graduations are being canceled, losses. And of course, people could cope with these losses through positive changes, through positive behaviors or negative. So some of the negative behaviors that I observed, it's more drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's more drug use, increase in domestic violence, increase in child abuse, marital conflicts, increase in suicidal ideation. These are very unfortunate changes that impacted the livelihood of people. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That was very detailed. So, any other questions, guys? Maybe Rebecca? No? Do you have any questions to our experts? Yes, no. Polina, Sonia, Dasha, questions?
Yes, I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Are USA students exposed to stress during epidemic?
So yes, because right now all in-person learning has been canceled in the state of Colorado, and students learn through the video sessions. And for some students, they find it difficult to stay focused, to learn video channels. Because there are some people who learn better if they are around other people, when they could ask questions. Video learning, for some students, it adds additional stress, and it's easier to procrastinate for those people who have a tendency. So yes, students are very stressed, and I hear some complaints from my clients who are students that we are not learning much. But I don't know if it's because it's a new mode of learning right now, or maybe the material, the professors, they didn't find the optimal way yet on how to present the information through video channels, because it's a learning process for both professors and students. And especially for those majors that, for example, have to practice teaching in the class, who are teachers, or they are doctors, they need to learn how to do surgeries. You can't do it through video. It postpones their practicums or internships, which could postpone the time of graduation as well. So yes, I would say a lot of stress in the students' population. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you, Ina. Any other questions, guys? Sonia, Dasha, Stepan, Andrei? No questions? I guess, Ina, that was very, very detailed, very, very efficient. Well, can you stay for us any longer, or are you very busy with your schedule and you have to go? So
I could stay for another 15 minutes and listen to another presenter. I just would like to ask you, how do I disconnect at the end?
Guys, can you give it advice